Hey there. So it's midnight right now, but I just got done playing some music. Like I have a little bit extra time where I don't have to do anything and I could lock myself away in the office room. So I just wanted to go through Reddit and just share some of the things I come across that seem interesting. I love Reddit because I like to see the perspective of many different types of people from all over the world. I'm like subscribed to a lot of different groups that I don't even want to say that I'm subscribed to because it just sounds crazy, but I like to learn about and like hear about everything. So I'm gonna look up some things on my phone. And I thought if you're bored, you could just listen to it. You don't even gotta watch the video. Okay, so this was asked in No Stupid Questions. What innocent item gets suspicious if you own too much of it? All right, so let's start going through. Monster Zero says fertilizer. And if you know, fertilizers are used for like pressure cookers for making like explosives and whatnot. Glass Windows says baby teeth. When does it cross the threshold? My mother probably has 60. When you got more than you should have for the number of kids you got. I try hard to like save these things for my daughter and stuff, but I'm not as sentimental because I feel like it's always like thinking about the past and it keeps me away from like being in the moment, so I try not to do that. But I want to give my daughter something for her future because not everyone's the same. She doesn't have to think like me or have the same thoughts, so it's better to save it and then it get thrown away than not save it and her really wishing she could have seen some of the stuff from her childhood. Now let's go through some more of this. Let's see. Sudafed. They did put like a limit of Sudafed that you can get and you have to show your license. You know, it's an allergy medicine. You can get it from the pharmacist because people were making meth from it. This person said, haha, I definitely have too much Sudafed. I only need it for a few weeks every year. Next year comes and I forget I already have it and buy more. I have a stockpile. Jade Game says, do you make drugs? Sounds like you make drugs. That's the point of them saying Sudafed. I know what the point was. I don't make drugs. Gosh. Okay, next. Bleach. Well, then again, see, I just feel like can be good reasons why somebody has a stockpile of bleach. My mind wouldn't automatically go to they're cleaning up some certain type of scene. I mean, I'm sure I would think that eventually, you know, as one of the reasons until I ask them. Okay, I'm bored with this question. Let's go to the next one. Oh, this is a good one. What's the best advice you've ever received? Okay. Fortifier22 says, no one cares. That's actually the advice. The vast majority of people are more concerned about going about their own days and doing their own things. I kept being too socially conscious of myself around others, believing that every move I was making was being monitored and judged all the time. But the reality was that, just like me, everyone around me is just focused on themselves and what they're doing and not all others. And if anyone did anything out of the ordinary or embarrassing, we all forgot about it the next day. Okay, well, Fortifier22, I just would like to say, in my opinion, that's not true. Especially nowadays, I feel like that's all we care about is what someone else is doing, especially with social media. Everybody wants to know everybody's story, you know, everybody's next move, or, you know, a lot of people watch true crime or body language experts or behavior panel. It's a really cool YouTube channel on YouTube. All those different things can say about a person and what they're trying to say versus what they're actually saying. So I feel like it becomes like a fun game to play where you're out in public and you're trying to read, you know, the body language of someone and figure them out. And then like videos, when you're watching videos, you're not just watching the person, you're looking at the background. Is their house clean? Does the background look like they set it up too perfectly to show this image of them? I feel like people are always judging and thinking about somebody else. And then it says, if anyone did anything out of the ordinary or embarrassing, we all forgot about it the next day. I still remember this girl in my class that farted in the second grade really loudly. Back to where what's the best advice you ever received? 3 rules for my great aunt. This is from Reality Groupie. Go to the restroom while you have a chance. If there's a seat available, sit down. If someone offers you a breath mint, take it. God, that's embarrassing if someone offers you a breath mint. It could be just because they're grabbing one at the time and they feel like they have to share, because that's what people do, but I would just assume they just feel like you need it. I would just take an exit. If you ask, they might say yes. They might also say no, but if you don't ask, it's always a no, so ask. That's something I always try to tell my daughter. When I say no, like I'm really firm on it though, she's like, I just don't want to ask you because you're just going to say no. I'm like, but what if I don't? Because there's a chance that I won't, and I don't say no to a lot of things for her. We talk about it and decide like what's the best choice together usually. Ask me things that I know makes her uncomfortable or nervous, or that she thinks I'm going to say no, and you just feel it in her voice. And then I want to say yes, just so she can get that like fear out of her. Not making a decision is making a decision. As someone who struggles with indecisiveness, this has been an important one. It's easy to get wrapped up in analyzing options, especially what could go wrong. Sometimes the decision paralysis is worse than the consequence of a suboptimal choice. That is very true. I've heard that advice before, and I took that to heart. It's really hard for me to make a decision. And what I also don't do is when I decide on something, I say, oh, well, it could have went this way if I would have chose that. I put that out of my mind. Like I'm really good at compartmentalizing. That just has to go so I don't dwell on it forever. I mean, it would be cool in an ideal world to see like the parallel lives that you could have lived if you made the other choice, but that's not good for your mental health. Doing something imperfectly is better than not doing it at all. And this person says, just be mindful of the exceptions such as laser eye surgery or tattoo art. Oh yeah, those are good exceptions to mention. The best advice I ever saw was from Bo Burnham on a talk show. Conan O'Brien asked the standard question, what advice would you have for other young people who want to pursue their dreams like you? He responded, well, my advice for you would be to take a deep breath and give up. I got to where I am today purely because of luck. All these celebs today, like Taylor Swift, telling you to be yourself and follow your dreams, it's like saying, liquidize your assets, buy Powerball tickets, get rich. It works. It does not work. 10 years ago, I was just a dumb, skinny white kid who didn't know what he was doing. Now, the only thing that's changed is I'm famous. Just do whatever you want, and if you get lucky and get rich, then that's great. But it probably won't happen. And someone replied to that, it is something I learned even with work. Hard work alone won't do shit for you. Chance encounters, a seemingly small conversation, and cosmic timing have a much bigger impact on your success than hard work alone. In my case, there was a random LinkedIn message from a recruiter and a gut feeling I should respond to it. That led me to having a successful job that values work-life balance and pays way more than the previous job. I like that. While driving one day, I was pissed that someone cut me off when I had the right-of-way. My great-grandfather told me there's a lot of dead people who had the right-of-way too. I never forgot that advice. It may not be the best advice, but it always stuck with me. My mother used to say, it's always better to be alive and wrong than dead right. When it comes to driving, my whole thing is, because I used to not have road rage, but I have to get really impatient. I'm always impatient. Like when it comes to like lines or waiting, I've gotten like a lot better because I practice like mindfulness. But driving, I just imagine that I've been in a lot of these people's shoes. Just imagine, okay, I've been that person before. Maybe it's a teenager, maybe not. Maybe it's someone super late for work, scared they're going to lose their job or whatever. I mean, it's not right, but we've all done it. So just have a little patience. Don't engage. You see how like road rage things turn really crazy. People like end up shooting each other or whatever. It's not worth it. Like those minutes will be over soon. I'm almost done because I got something I got to do. I just remembered. This is just really morbid. And like, don't get me wrong. I love scrolling through morbid Reddit, but you have to be in the mood for it. So I just feel like I'm not in the mood for that right now. I'm just going to find something a little lighter. What is the scariest theory known to man? John Douglas, a former chief of the FBI's elite serial killer crime unit, and says a very conservative estimate is that there are between 35 and 50 active serial killers in the United States at any given moment in time. Well, actually, it's estimated that there's hundreds in any given time, and there's been a lot of law enforcement groups that are not correlating them together when it's clear that they should be. And like right now in Chicago, there's a lot of young men in their like 20s, early 30s dying in the same way, being found in the river in Chicago. And this is after they're out for a night and whatnot, and they just disappear and then wash up there. And what's the count right now? Like 17, 18 bodies.
I am tired of hearing the same story because I have heard it at least 14 different times just this year. You say there's only 4 people, so there's no connection, there's no serial killer. But I have at least 15 date they're missing, where they were missing from, the time where they were heading to, and where they were finally found.
Right there is an example of one that they're not counting as a serial killer when it's very clear. I mean, there's more data for that, but I'm not going to get into that right now. There's a theory that our universe is in a false vacuum. Oh, I like this one. It's really scary. That will eventually collapse and completely destroy or ultimately alter our universe. That would mean that no matter how far we develop, no matter how many planets we've settled, no matter how many medical feats humanity will have accomplished, we would have a deadline where we would be forever deleted. You guys are giving me an existential crisis before I even go into work today. Stop it. Yeah, it's no surprise. The universe as we know it will eventually wind down to nothingness through entropy. It will take an incredible amount of time, but it is inevitable.